AI might take your job, or maybe it won't, but the one thing it'll do for sure is make you more productive. Welcome to the All with AI podcast. I'm your host, Chris Remboldt. In this episode, we will look at 3 reasons why our lives will change soon. In just a few short years, our whole daily routine will almost certainly look very different. Let's explore why and how this will happen. As a bonus, I want to share also a practice with you that makes my whole day better and allows me to do this work without too much anxiety or stress. More on that later. So first off, we are going to talk about how our work is going to change. Then we will move to some ways that our leisure and personal life will be impacted as well. Let's start with the work stuff. First, as I said at the beginning, AI will not take your job. It will just make everybody much more productive. This increase in individual productivity, it might result in your company not needing you anymore, yes. But other outcomes might be that some companies will just grow super fast, and some people will just find new work to do, either for yourself or one of the companies that needs more people. There's a YouTuber called Dan Koe, and that's his last name is spelled Koe. And Dan thinks that in a few years, the economy will be 95% freelance style work, and it's 36% freelance work today. I tend to agree with him. I say again, AI will not replace you. It can't. It'll just make you far more capable and productive. Let's say that your work you do right now, whether you're working for a company or you're self-employed, it doesn't matter here. Let's say that your work is like moving bricks. The value you bring is that the bricks are taken from point A to point B. Now, because of AI, instead of stacking bricks by hand, you can instead drive a forklift and move big pallets of bricks. Yes, you need to learn how to drive a forklift, but it definitely beats moving bricks with your hands. There are already lots of people who are learning how to drive and operate this figurative forklift, and soon you will too. So what exactly is this AI forklift then? Let's talk about that. From a zoomed out, emotionless perspective, essentially there are going to be millions, even billions of new workers joining the economy. These workers are AI agents, currently known as Auto-GPTs. An AI agent is a self-directed tool that does a task assigned to it by a human. Sometimes the AI agent working on a project for you, if the project's big enough, will even assign some of the smaller tasks it has to do to additional AI agents that help with its own workload. So these Auto-GPTs, AI agents, basically little smart-ish creatures that live in the internet. The effect of these will soon be similar to what would be billions of new workers joining the workforce. They have different needs and strengths from humans, sure, but most importantly, they don't get tired or hungry, and they're very inexpensive. Each individual AI agent is very flexible. They can last for a few seconds or theoretically for years. They exist only as long as they're needed and can shut down and disappear once their work is done. They pop in and out of existence, scaling their numbers up and down to match the work assigned to them. I strongly believe that these AI agents will grow the economy just because of the much higher total amount of work that can now be done. I mean, imagine that your work computer now has 100 sets of mouse and keyboard. You can use your mouse and keyboard and even soon your voice to assign work to the little AI agent guys we just talked about. These little AI guys are getting smarter every week because there's lots of people building new and improved versions of them. Your productivity will soon be only limited by your ability to manage a project because now you have a nearly infinite amount of help to help you get it done. You might say, but Chris, I don't have these little AI creatures in my computer, and I don't know how to add them. Or I don't know if I can trust them or if I'd get in trouble for using them. Yes, you're right for now. But think about it. Now that it's possible to do this, each industry will create and implement their own custom version of AI agent tools, and all the companies in that industry will have to adapt or go out of business. It'll be like trying to do business without using computers at your company. In every single kind of computer-based work that I can imagine, these AI agents will create an enormous advantage with huge productivity and speed gains, lower error rates, and let's be honest, fewer employees needed. The insane productivity gains created by the little AI agent creatures we just talked about will cause most goods and services that I can think of to have to lower their price just to remain competitive. If a company has 10 employees instead of 100, and the operational and material costs they have go way down, then now they will be able to gain an insane amount of market share by lowering prices. This will cause all the other businesses in that space to have to do the same just to survive. The slow reacting companies will be unable to adapt and will disappear. But many new startups will be born as well and provide new innovations that improve our customer experience in some way. These factors will result in much cheaper as well as probably much better versions of pretty much everything. As things change inside the industries and companies and at your workstation, so also will the consumer side of things that we experience. Our bills, our expenses, how and where we live, our leisure, our vacations, our consumption, all the things we buy will change as well because of the upstream impact of those AI agents and Auto-GPTs at companies and businesses. So the stores we go to and the brands we buy will change or be replaced, but overall, they should be better and cost less. AI will be used to improve our customer experience in ways we probably can't even predict right now. It's hard to anticipate all the changes that will occur because of just the unlimited number of tireless new AI workers that are starting to join the workforce right now as Auto-GPTs. I believe it's going to be very good for us because while we will certainly be doing very different work very soon, I believe it will be generally more effective, interesting, and satisfying work than the array of options that's currently available. So that was our first of the 3 topics for today, the impact of Auto-GPTs on the work that we do. So moving on to topic 2. There's some good news that most people talking about AI in the future either they haven't considered or just haven't been able to spot underneath the mountain of politics and corporate propaganda that's doing its best to dominate our info space right now. So what is that good news? The fact that energy will be so inexpensive as to basically be free within the next 3 to 5 years. This probably sounds counterintuitive right now because especially over the past few years, energy costs have gone up, not down. My electric bill, my travel costs, my heating bill, all these things have gotten more expensive. In some places, the cost of fuel and electricity have gone way up. I mean, Germany just had a 45% energy increase basically overnight. And that was like last week. However, I believe this is just overall a short-term situation. And here's why. The cost to generate electricity is going to plummet. And this is because of the new solar and battery power plants that are very inexpensive to operate once they're built. They're also getting far cheaper to build as the production of solar panels and storage batteries are benefiting from economies of scale. Economies of scale are where when you build more of a thing, that thing becomes less expensive. And this is also very good news for our environment because batteries and solar panels are highly recyclable. With coal and natural gas, once the fuel is burned, it isn't recoverable. It's just in the air now, or turned into soot. But with batteries and solar panels, their atoms don't go anywhere. They're still right there at the end of their life where they started. And all the good, valuable stuff that went into them can be taken back out, have the entropy processed out of them, and their matter be rearranged into another long-lasting panel or battery. So no additional mining or extraction work is needed. Plus, the energy used to assemble, disassemble, melt, shred, and rebuild the panels and batteries can be provided very cleanly and expensively by the other units that are out in the field generating power. One final thought on the amazing economics of the solar and battery plants. If you go read the reports and analysis from RethinkX, that's all one word, RethinkX, rethink and then the letter X, or just do lots of Googling, you'll find that the new power plants can produce twice as much electricity for only 20% additional build-out costs. Again, just 20% more investment up front to double the energy produced. That's a pretty easy decision. This is really good and will probably actually be necessary in hindsight because AI needs a lot of electricity for running in the data center, for all the training loops and the GPUs, and once it's running, and especially once embodied in robots. So, in summary, on this energy part, our civilization is about to be producing a lot more electricity. And compared to today's energy generation costs, it will be incredibly inexpensive and abundant. Yes, it's a given that this will take several years, and hydrocarbons and nuclear energy will be needed in the interim. And nuclear will probably still be needed in areas that go months without sunlight. But if you go and look at the government's energy website, or just anywhere that's reputable that you can find with a search engine, you'll see that lots and lots and lots of solar and battery utility scale power plants are being built right now. This will create those network effects, which will exponentially accelerate the changeover to the new, less expensive electricity. This situation, kind of like the AI transition we are going through, can be hard to grasp or believe even as it's happening publicly in front of our eyes. Humans have a hard time grasping what exponential change is like. So if this seems difficult to believe, that's normal. However, all this is happening. At this point, the trends and probabilities look pretty much inevitable to me. So in the words of Bruno Mars, if you don't believe me, just watch. So that was topic 2, a big change in available electricity. Finally, our third discussion, and it's one that ties the first two together. So I mentioned robots just briefly a few minutes ago. Let's talk about robots. Now that some major roadblocks to intelligence have been cleared with the large language models and transformers in AI, those are a couple of recent amazing accomplishments. The necessary timeline to robots being everywhere and doing all kinds of services is now much closer. Previously, robots had to be programmed, with each thing they did being reflected in a line of code somewhere. However, now that we've figured out how to do much more flexible things with AI, and this new AI can learn to use all kinds of tools very quickly, I believe that it's inevitable that this flexible AI architecture will be used to create many new types of robots. We will use these new robots for all kinds of things: keeping our spaces clean, delivering our packages, creating food and shelter with farming and construction, manufacturing stuff, including building more robots, and finally performing all the maintenance to make sure this is all running. All these new robots will need lots and lots of electricity, and their batteries will be charged with this newly abundant low-cost energy we talked about in topic number 2. So let's review these 3 things so you can see where I'm going with this. First, AI agents called Auto-GPTs have been invented and are being built and rapidly improved on right now. These are the little guys in your computer that can do all kinds of flexible work, thus making everybody much more productive, able to do lots more work, move lots more bricks, as it were, because everybody can now have 100 little helper elves for their job. If you don't have them now, and most people don't yet, watch, you certainly will soon. Next, there have been improvements in creating lots of electricity. It's cheaper than ever to build an electric power plant using very low maintenance solar and battery, and it's quickly getting cheaper. In fact, soon We may have even reached this point now, actually. If you spend just 20% more when you build this power plant, it makes twice as much electricity. There aren't very many businesses where you can permanently double your returns with just a 20% bump in additional capex. This all means that there will be a lot more energy available in about 3 to 5 years, and for much cheaper than it is today. This is a good thing because the little AI guys we just mentioned, the AI agents, they would be even more useful if they had their own little devices to move around in. So we will want to give them that ability to move around and do stuff for us. This AI agent inside of a movable computer is that thing we call a robot. Why have a person sitting at a desk using a computer if the computer could just come to the person and talk to it, plus do all kinds of practical tasks in the real world as well? Right now, there is a physical gap between a computer and the work being done, and a human normally fills that gap. With robots, there won't be a gap. There will just be a human directing the work of the AI agents, and the AI agents will be able to physically close the gap as a robot between the computer and the thing that needs to be done. These three things, skillful AI agents, tons of electricity, and embodied AI as robots. These three things are the main ingredients of the Singularity. The Singularity is a theoretical point in the future that we can't really predict what life will be like on the other side of it. We are living right now through the opening act of the Singularity. So these three things on their own, without any major problems caused by less predictable things like superintelligence or human social turbulence, mean that the cost of living can go way down and the standard of living can go way up. If the cost of most services is simply the electricity used by the robots performing the work, and the cost of goods drops because the work done to create the goods out of raw material is all very inexpensive, then your purchasing power will go very far. Money will probably not really mean the same thing anymore after the Singularity. Very inexpensive intelligence and electricity, the two things that drive our civilization's progress, will set us up for huge new prosperity and potential. Thinking about this coming situation can be somewhat anxiety-inducing for us. Our evolution or design did not prepare us to experience such things with such a huge and fast change in our context. I believe it is more important than ever to do the work on our inner experience. If we are anxious or fearful about what's happening, then it may be difficult for us to adapt to and enjoy the advantages of the new life that awaits us in a few short years, probably around 2029 or 2030. After all, we spent our entire lives building a career and living an expected life story arc that is now probably going to be significantly altered. For me, I meditate. Hopefully psychedelics will arrive as a legal therapy soon as well, as they have shown incredible success in helping with people's anxieties and fears. However, you don't have to use psychedelics to benefit from meditation. Here's a meditation that I have been using. It has helped me to enjoy the present, to think clearly about the future, and to plan my course through the Singularity event without being too worried about it. I'll be talking a lot in future episodes about how to use tools to have good psychological health and good neurological health, some practices and tools for you that I use, as those are areas that I work on a lot for myself. But for today, I will leave you with this meditation. Here are the instructions. They are easy to memorize. First, this is to be done sitting or lying down with your eyes closed. It doesn't really matter, but whatever you do, you should be able to relax your limbs and your face while you do this work. That's very important for the relaxation aspect of the meditation. So here are the steps. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Close your eyes. And now you have just one job. Follow this breathing routine. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your mouth. Breathe out through your nose. So you're following the breath. It is going out and then back in and then out and then back in where it just came from. You will find that if your mind wanders, you will lose that nose, mouth, mouth, nose rhythm, and you'll have to bring your attention back to your breath just to keep that rhythm going. This method really serves two purposes. One, it seems to make my blood super oxygen rich, which creates a slightly high feeling that is very helpful for relaxing into the meditation. Two, and even better, it means that you have to pay just enough attention to your breathing that you can't let your breathing go on autopilot and then your mind goes off and wanders and becomes anxious again. For me, the relief and the peace I feel by the time my alarm goes off is amazing. I hope it helps you. Let me know how it works out for you if you try it. So finally, in conclusion, I want to help us all get through this Singularity event. I believe that the best way I can help you is not through bringing you scary AI news. There's plenty of YouTube channels and other podcasts for that. No, the best way I can help you is to share with you the practices I have learned for calming my psychology and improving my mental and physical health. I've been learning about these things avidly for years now and have tried lots of things. Found some stuff that works and some stuff that's just snake oil. So I'll bring you the good stuff. I'll share the practices, methods, and tools with you that work for me. And even better, I will show you how to use AI tools to help you integrate these practices into your specific life situation. So there are tools that can help you integrate these things into what's going on with you specifically, because your life is inevitably different from my life. You may have more or less time available to do these things, and you may be more or less advanced in some of these areas from me. So AI can help that fit you in a more custom way. Also, the context of the Singularity event will still be here in the podcast as well. I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on with AI and more for you, and I will keep you up to date on anything I see that's important for you to know. My goal is to help you see the opportunities and challenges of the current disruptive changes that are happening and how you can benefit and how you should prepare. I will empower you with the personal growth and mental health tools that I use and find effective personally. Together, we can build an amazing future and have beautiful inner experiences at the same time. The one thing I'm sure of is that whatever happens, we will be doing it all with AI. That's it for this week, folks. Subscribe to my newsletter and browse my coaching services at allwithai.com. Assuming you're not driving at the moment, please share this episode with someone you care about. Lots of people need to know about this stuff. Thank you for listening. I'm Chris Remboldt, and I love you all.